not being studied more. Yeah.
So where does it originate and what does
Cannabis?
yeah, what does the local people use it?
Oh, that's a good question. Fiber, right? Wasn't it? I mean, it's a North American plant. No?
Not originally, like the Himalayas.
Oh, Himalayas.
Two species
Is it sativa? Is that the first?
Depends on the taxonomist.
Oh, okay.
How many species are involved.
And what was it used for? Anybody
I
know?
thought there's like archaeological remains for 10,000 years ago as hemp fiber.
Wow.
I don't know that you would be able to find archaeological remains of other uses.
Oh, yeah, that's
They
true.
might have been there, but maybe they just don't have evidence of it.
Okay.
It was
Interesting.
certainly used in China as to weave burial shrouds all the way back thousands of years ago.
Wow. Huh. There you go. That's why I love these kind of talks.
And I'm always, I'll just elaborate a little bit, because
Sure.
I'm always using that as an example of how people domesticate the same species in more than one direction. So there's certain ones that are really good for fiber, and certain varieties that are good for drug, and other ones that they're developing nowadays in Canada, especially as oil seeds. So they're developing some that have like virtually no drug in them at all, but make that really good healthy
Hemp oil, yeah.
hemp oil.
Huh.
So there's like, but you can't, like many other things, you can't have like a super plant that does all three. You kind of have to choose which one you're going to really emphasize.
Oh, interesting.
And Chinese medicine uses cannabis seeds for constipation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Ground or just straight up? Huh. How about that? I wonder if it works like senna. You know, the senna seed that we use for the same purpose? Huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Huh. Yeah.
I was wondering, your talk seemed to be very plant-focused. What about like the fungi? I saw cordyceps and there was some adaptogens. There are a lot of other really, really interesting fungi.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, I mean, I call this traditional medicine is modern medicine, but all I talked about was plants. You know, all the different aspects of traditional medicine from, you know, physical healing methods to acupuncture. I mean, there's so many other elements to healing. And in integrative medicine, we talk a lot about mind-body medicine and the interaction between the healer and the patient. And so putting that in context, and then also branching out, pun intended, from plants to fungi. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a chance to go into all those. But the medicinal mushroom, if you want to check out a really interesting website, fungi.com, fungi.com. Out of Olympia, Washington, there's this guy, Paul Stamets, who's fascinating. He grows fungi and everything. I've seen it growing on like recliners, you know, that were thrown out into like garbage. So he took it and he grew fungi all over it. And the turkey tail mushroom he harvested from a recliner that otherwise was going to go into the landfill. So, and you know, they're using it for bioremediation and all kinds of things. But then you can get these amazing medicinal compounds from fungi. And most of them that I know of are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, have roles in cancer prevention. And then cordyceps up there, I think that's an amazing fungi. And it's used as an adaptogen, just sort of a general supportive plant. You can buy it in tincture form. I love it. And I should have brought some of that because it's kind of the happy tincture. You know, if you're feeling like the weather's driving you nuts and you just take a hit from a cordyceps tincture, it can help just even pretty quickly to make you feel a little bit better, and that fits with kind of the way that adaptogens can work.
I was just going to comment that the cordyceps that you're talking about, they changed the name to Opiocordyceps.
Oh, they did? It's not cordyceps sinensis anymore?
Well, it's Opiocordyceps sinensis now because they're
Oh.
trying to break it off even more. Like the whole fungal taxonomy is changing.
From DNA work, or? Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
everything's getting changed around now, so it's
Oh, wow.
chaotic. I took the mycology class last semester.
Okay.
Opiocordyceps sinensis.
Is there anybody on campus that studies medicinal mushrooms?
I think we were trying to hire a new mycologist in the botany department, if that's correct. But,
Okay. Huh.
it's something that I'm interested in, but I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Okay. Huh.
As far as I know, in the microbiology
Right.
But as far as medicinal fungi.
Not so much? Okay. Huh. Yes?
I'm curious to hear your thoughts about regional relevancy in healing. And the question that I came up with around that is, with your experience and your knowledge, is it possible to experience holistic healing using just the natural resources one has in their bioregion?
Yeah.
Or to cure something that I have, do I need something from a jungle in Latin America?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. And it came up yesterday in Eve's class also, in this whole Wendell Berry kind of bioregional approach to crops and eating locally and could we heal locally. I mean, probably we don't know too much, but I guess the way I look at it clinically is sometimes I can find an interesting mechanism of action and a nuance to a plant from a plant that's not from my area that then kind of broadens out what I have to offer somebody. So yeah, so I say every once in a while that happens, but mostly I could find what I need locally. And a good example would be all these berry drinks. Are people hip to this whole movement of like acai, mangosteen, noni? Why not just go get choke cherry or cranberries? I mean, just find your local pigmented fruit and press it, and you'll get just as good as getting something shipped from Southeast Asia. So, I think we should look into that or do a, how about heal locally kind of conference? You're in charge. Yeah, I mean, have you read or heard anything about it, or are there people writing about it?
Just with the experience that I've had, it makes sense to me that a plant that I grew up with and was birthed around
Yeah.
would be able to be familiar and helpful to my body versus something exotic.
Yeah.
So,
But then what happens if you move? Now we have immigrant populations from all over the world, and they bring their plants with them. And sometimes I'll ask, and they say, yeah, I brought it with me, but it actually doesn't grow that well here, and it tastes a little bit different. So I wonder about all that. So then should they switch to, let's say you move from another country, should you switch to the local plants or bring your plants with you?
yeah, maybe probably a balance of both.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are questions that I think about. And also, if someone goes and travels abroad.
Yeah. Sounds like a good research project. Let's set up a LASIS-sponsored ethnobotany plant-oriented research project. These two guys are pointing at each other. Oh, gosh. Wait, you've had your hand up for a while, Sarah.
I just wondered, so sort of more personally, just the other day, I found out one of my cousin's children, who's only 3, has leukemia. And they immediately, like within 24 hours, put a port in for chemo, and they've already started on chemotherapy. And so you mentioned that this one plant is has a can cure it. So is that something that they would be giving him in conjunction with, or like the derivative of it, or is that something that maybe most doctors don't use, that I could call my cousin and say,
Oh, yeah.
hey, do you know about this, or?
That particular plant is probably the reason that child got the port. He's probably getting vincristine right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's already well into accepted treatment.
So along with chemotherapy, they do that? Because I know that
It is chemotherapy. Like it's a purified compound now that acts
Okay.
like any other purified compound or pharmaceutical. So that is presumably what they're getting. Yep, that's right.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a good question. So how do you figure out, is your physician or specialist up to date? Are they doing new things? I mean, I think you have to do some shopping around and find out. There's a cancer center called the Block Cancer Center in Chicago, which I think is one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
And that physician and all of the associated people of that clinic know about the most recent, hot treatments. So people don't have to travel to other countries. Sometimes that's being done too if things aren't approved here.
Yeah.
People will leave and go to another country. But Yeah, so this idea of integrative medicine, it's a little, you know, we're 10, 15 years into this field now, but I think it's going to be more and more accepted where that blend, you could show up to a clinic and know that you're getting the best of the best. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, Lori.
I just want to go on record as saying that I'm super delighted that UW-Madison Medical School has hired someone who's looking at
Oh.
plants. But I mean, I think maybe I'm showing my age here, but I think that's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad that at least, you know, family medicine and the med school took that leap. But they've been doing a little bit. Bruce Barrett, who's studied echinacea here on campus for probably 8 years or so, he's been great. I think this is all his fault. No, he's been definitely a leader in that field. Yes, ma'am.
My question is related and partially to your question. How the problem of time harvesting is being addressed? Because you know, even for example, from the properties of wine, even on the same slope, so only the middle portion will have a proper concentration in terms of hormones and all this.
Sure.
And which consumers are very careful with time harvesting, even time of the day, time of the year, so that part of the plants, which all very often almost always being missed by non-professional activists, and that's why we will not get proper concentration or even complexes of the plant. How is being addressed?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you think about the Western approach, so herbal medicine is being done in the U.S., I think you have to know your source. And is there an herbalist or medicinal expert on staff at a particular company that's doing the harvesting, the planting, the cultivating? Because otherwise, you're right, they'll miss that. There are certain stands of echinacea that are stronger than others. John Uri Lloyd was one of the echinacea researchers in the past, and he had a particularly favorite stand somewhere in Iowa. It was the strongest one he'd ever found. So, you know, it has to be done in the right way. And you can also now, there are some methods that help us test things and make sure that the concentrations are correct. So, if they know what to test. Yeah, like St. John's wort, we always test it to hypericin and hyperforin, but those aren't even the ones that provide the antidepressant activity. So then it gets complicated. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
I had a comment about local sources and knowledge of herbalism.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a Wildwood Institute in
Oh, yeah.
town, and she has worked with local stuff and local Native American healers.
Oh, good.
Quite a lot, and has some pretty amazing skills to offer.
That's thank you for bringing that up. And I, as part of the herbal team, you know, I'm a little bit more recently arrived here, about a year now. But when I did this talk for GHC recently, we had a bunch of naturopath doctors in the audience, and then there was somebody that owned an herbal medicine company from the Madison area. So, I mean, absolutely, we need to draw on that community pharmacy. I call them on the phone all the times. I think they're irritated by me. Like, hey, do you have this? What are you doing? You're like, you again? So, you know, trying to really tap into what's going on in the area is a good idea. Yeah.
This is a question based on like going forward in terms of regulation of herbs. I know like they're really cracking down in some places, like in Ohio, like traditional Chinese medicine, people who practice TCM aren't able to prescribe herbs anymore, and I don't even know where else that's happening.
Oh, wow.
It seems like a big crackdown, so I'm wondering like, do you have any idea like what, like going forward, how we can protect like these traditional herbalists? Because there's not really a regulatory
Yeah.
certification or anything in prescribing herbs. So do you know what the latest is? Like how do we?
There's two, so all herbs are considered food by law. They're not considered drugs. So that means that you don't need a prescription to buy them. And they're actually being monitored more like food. So now plants that make herbal products have to be up to a certain level of GMP, we call it, good manufacturing practices. So there's the production side, but then the actual practitioner side, the American Herbalist Guild is trying to certify people and give them a registered herbalist. So, I mean, probably, you hate to see this happening, right? Because you're going to lose some people who don't want to go through the certification, who have all this great knowledge. But I mean, probably in the legal world, what's going to happen is there'll be licensure in every state, and then people have to get a certificate, which may or may not be the American Herbalist Guild, might be another group. But that, you know, I think there's a small, you know, kind of fermenting, you know, beginning to that movement. That's where I probably see things going. And then there's a lot of practitioners, like, you know, thankfully, once you get a degree like a nurse practitioner or MD, you can prescribe anything. And there's a lot of us now getting this kind of training. So I think people will be able to find a practitioner that legally can do it. And then we just need to figure out what to do with the people with other types of training. I mean, do you have experience with that, or do you know other? Okay.
I know that we do have, like, if I'm still getting the diploma of Chinese medicine.
Yeah, yeah.
Right now I'm a licensed acupuncturist, but then there's a diploma of Chinese medicine, which is like, you don't really need it not in Wisconsin to practice, but.
You just need an LAC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just need LAC, but like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are just opting for a diplomat because then that shows that they did take
Okay.
standardized tests for ours.
Yeah.
But so there's that, like if someone is a diplomat of Chinese medicine, you know that they've been tested for Chinese medicine, but then not for Western. So it's all very confusing because it's like.
It is.
Like I know nothing about Western, you know.
Yeah.
Herbs that grow here in Madison, Wisconsin, it's crazy. So
Yeah, but you know the ones that, you know, are native to Asia. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it might take a fair amount for all of us to get up to speed about, but maybe we don't all have to be experts in all of those. Like, you know, if I knew where you practiced, then I would call you on the phone and say, hey, you know, what's this thing and what would it be useful for? And so maybe that's going to be the future, is people will specialize in certain types of plants. Yeah. Hey, I won't take it personally if people need to leave. I know we've been here a really long time, but I suppose we'll answer a few more questions here. Yeah.
The FDA is adamantly opposed to what she's talking about. So if you say that plant X, which could be garlic or cranberry juice,
Yeah.
cures this disease, you just made that cranberry juice a drug. So you can't use it.
Oh, I see.
If you're a manufacturer.
Oh, that's right. With all the labeling stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
If you as a practitioner, FDA usually goes,
Oh, yeah.
come out and say, this cranberry juice is good for your UTI, you just made the cranberry juice a drug.
Yeah.
In the FDA lab.
I'm not sure if this is still true, but like 20 years ago, I knew a co-op in Maine and somebody who was selling herbal extracts and stuff like that. And they were told that if they had a booklet that made health claims and it was shelved too close to where the herbal supplements were, then you're got in trouble. Whereas if you had your herbal supplements over here and at the end of the store, you had a little booklet about medicinal uses of
Anybody?
herbs, then that was legal.
That's true.
Which is kind of strange.
I need to, this is a given. Anybody want lemongrass? Sweet potato from my CSA, so I don't have to carry it home? All right.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. That was a blast. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. Oh, that was fun. Thanks for staying the whole time. That was pretty cool.
It was really interesting.
Thank you, Vic. Thanks for coming.
And it says credible. You get a line, I'll get a blow, honey. You get a line, I'll get a bowl, man. You get a line, I'll get a bowl. We'll go down Crawdad, honey. Oh, baby mine. Young as a man's back on his back, honey. Young as a man back on his back bed. Young as a man back on his back. Crawdad's all in his sack, honey. Oh, baby mine. What you gonna do in the creek runs dry, honey? What you gonna do in the creek runs dry, babe? bowl, babe. You can lie.
If you want to check out a really interesting website, fungi.com, fungi.com. Out of Olympia, Washington, there's this guy, Paul Stamets, who's fascinating. He grows fungi and everything. I've seen it growing on like recliners, you know, that were thrown out into like garbage. So he took it and he grew fungi all over it. And the turkey tail mushroom he harvested from a recliner that otherwise was going to go into the landfill. So, and you know, they're using it for bioremediation and all kinds of things. But then you can get these amazing medicinal compounds from fungi. And most of them that I know of are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, have roles in cancer prevention. Okay, interesting.
Used in China as to weave burial shrouds all the way back thousands of years ago.
Wow. Huh. There you go. That's why I love these kind of talks.
And I'm always, I'll just elaborate a little bit, because
Sure.
I'm always using that as an example of how people domesticate the same species in more than one direction. So there's certain ones that are really good for fiber, and certain varieties that are good for drug, and other ones that they're developing nowadays in Canada, especially as oil seeds. So they're developing some that have like virtually no drug in them at all, but make that really good healthy
Hemp oil, yeah.
hemp oil. So there's like, but you can't, like many other things, you can't have like a super plant that does all three. You kind of have to choose which one you're going to really emphasize.
Oh, interesting.
And Chinese medicine uses cannabis seeds for constipation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Ground or just straight up? Huh. How about that? I wonder if it works like senna, you know, the senna seed that we use for the same purpose? Huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Huh. Yeah.
I was wondering, your talk seemed to be very plant-focused. What about like the fungi? I saw cordyceps and there was some adaptogens. There are a lot of other really, really interesting fungi.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, I mean, I call this traditional medicine is modern medicine, but all I talked about was plants. You know, all the different aspects of traditional medicine, from, you know, physical healing methods to acupuncture. I mean, there's so many other elements to healing. And in integrative medicine, we talk a lot about mind-body medicine and the interaction between the healer and the patient. And so putting that in context, and then also branching out, pun intended, from plants to fungi. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a chance to go into all those. But the medicinal mushroom, if you're ever not being studied more, yeah. Cannabis?
Yeah. What does the local people use it?
Oh, that's a good question. Fiber, right? Wasn't it? I mean, it's a North American plant. No?
Not originally, like the Himalayas.
Oh, Himalayas.
Two species involved.
Is it sativa? Is that the first?
Depends on the taxonomist.
Oh, okay.
Species are developed.
And what was it used for? Anybody
I
know?
thought there's like archaeological remains for 10,000 years ago as hemp fiber.
Wow.
I don't know that you would be able to find archaeological remains of other uses.
Oh, yeah, that's
They
true.
might have been there, but maybe they were still